In a world where football clubs spend hundreds of millions every single transfer window, it is rare for a player to come along who feels like a true bargain. But this is someone who costs just £60 million. He might just be that man. Let me tell you the story of Chelsea's new number 9. The story of João Pedro begins, not in London or Madrid or even Brazil, but in a small town called Santa Maria. It was here in 2000 that the baby-faced forward was born. And it was here that he would begin playing football with a ball at his feet. You could always tell he had something special. He began turning heads with his performances for local side Fluminense's youth teams. And so when he made the move to Europe to join Watford's academy, many people back home were unsurprised. It was in England that he would blossom. On December 2021, still only 19 years old, he made his debut for the Hornets. Little did he know, it would be over 2 years before he played for them again. That's because in the summer of 2022, he joined Brighton and Hove Albion on loan. But this was no ordinary loan. It was an instant success story. He helped the Seagulls to their highest ever Premier League points total. And more importantly, he broke numerous goal-scoring records while doing so. No one has ever scored more goals in a 38-game Premier League season for Brighton than João Pedro, who netted 30 times in all competitions, as well as providing 10 assists. No wonder Graham Potter wanted to keep him at the club. But the lure of Champions League football and the promise of a starring role proved too much for the Brazilian teenager. He returned to Watford in July 2023. Only 1 year remained on his contract, and they desperately needed to cash in. So against his wishes, he was put up for sale. Many expected him to stay at Vicarage Road, but there was a release clause in his contract, one that would eventually be triggered by none other than Chelsea. And so the story goes that Todd Boehly met with the player and told him of his plans for the club. These included a complete overhaul of the squad, including the departure of long-serving players like Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. Then came the bombshell. The American billionaire informed him that he would be signing another striker in the form of Tottenham Hotspur's Harry Kane. But the England captain would only arrive the following summer, so João Pedro was given a choice: stay at Watford for the upcoming season, or force through a move to Stamford Bridge immediately. Well, there was never really any doubt which option he would choose, and after a week of sulking and refusing to play for the Hornets, he got his wish. A week later, on August 2023, he completed his £60 million move to Chelsea. And despite being unveiled as the club's number 9, it wasn't even confirmed that he would be wearing the famous blue shirt. That's because in a brilliant bit of marketing by the club, they decided to cover up the branding on his shirt until his first goal for the club. This was to ensure that no images of him in another team's kit would be leaked. Mission accomplished. His first game came in the UEFA Super Cup against bitter rivals Arsenal in the Maresca Stadium in Piraeus. In front of 64,000 people, he became the first ever Brazilian to represent Chelsea in a competitive match. What a way to announce yourself on the world stage. But it took just 12 minutes for the Gunners to take the lead. Fortunately, it was a mistake by Robert Sanchez, the goalkeeper who replaced Kepa Arrizabalaga in the summer, who gifted Leandro Trossard the opener.
Assist.
Having fallen behind, you could sense that Chelsea were growing frustrated. They were knocking the ball around, but they weren't causing Aaron Ramsdale too many problems. Then came the 29th minute. Take a look at this build-up play from the Blues. My goodness. Enzo Fernandez, who signed for a British record fee last January, has been heavily criticized for his performances so far. But look at the vision here to slip in Angelo Gabriel down the right-hand side. His low cross is perfect for Nicholas Jackson, but the big Senegalese striker glances wide. Nonetheless, the assistant's flag is raised. Then up steps our man João Pedro, and whilst it doesn't look like he was in an offside position, he does take a touch, which allows James to make a recovery and get back. As he turns to celebrate with his new teammates, he's made to wait as the VAR room in Stockley Park checks for offside. After what seems like an eternity, the decision comes back, and the goal stands. There are 51 minutes on the clock, and the scores are level. He'd marked his first ever appearance for the club with a goal, but he wasn't done there. 7 minutes later, the Blues win a corner. The delivery comes in, and after some pinball in the box, the ball eventually falls to Sterling. Some quick thinking from the former Manchester City man. He looks up and spots the run from João Pedro into the box. He then delivers a perfectly weighted pass across the face of goal, And the Brazilian has the easiest of tasks to tap home his second goal of the game. And what a way to get your first brace, eh? Now, hold your applause. Despite scoring 2 goals on his first ever start for the club, he should have actually celebrated his first goal with more vigor. That's because he's a one-club man, having started his professional career at Fluminense, and he refused to celebrate against them out of respect. And look at the scenes that follow. As he comes off in the 74th minute, he's replaced by Armando Broja and receives a standing ovation from the traveling Chelsea fans. Just another humble superstar in the making. Can play as a central striker or out wide, which gives Graham Potter a lot of flexibility in attack. And this is someone who's already achieved what many will go their entire careers without doing, netting at least once in the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, and Europa League. Many have compared his playing style to that of Robert Lewandowski. Not only do they share the same agent, they also have similar playing styles. João Pedro isn't the tallest, but he's very strong on the ball, and he can turn his man inside out with ease. He has that clinical edge in the final third. A trait that Chelsea have lacked since the departure of their all-time leading goalscorer Didier Drogba. If things continue to go well at Stamford Bridge, he could become their main man for years to come. And if we look back at his time at Brighton, we can see exactly what he's capable of. He can stretch the opposition defense with his intelligent movement, allowing the likes of Raheem Sterling and Mykhailo Mudryk to cut in from the flanks and cause havoc. If he forms an understanding with fellow summer signing Moises Caicedo, then this could be a formidable partnership for both club and country. And speaking of international football, he was part of Brazil's U20 squad that won the South American U20 Championship earlier this year. They went on to qualify for the 2023 FIFA U20 World Cup in Indonesia. Now, unfortunately, they exited the competition at the quarterfinal stage. But in 5 appearances, the teenager scored twice and provided 3 assists. Having represented Brazil at youth level, it won't be long before he gets a call-up to the senior squad. And with Tite now replaced by Ramon Menezes, he could be given his chance soon. But why would Brazil want him in the first place? Well, he has everything. Pace, power, trickery, technique, vision, passing range, and most importantly, a prolific goal-scoring record. You only have to look at his record at Brighton to see that he's not a flash in the pan. It's no surprise that he's attracting interest from Europe's elite. So what does his arrival mean for Chelsea? Well, firstly, it shows that the club are looking to the future. Todd Boehly has spoken about creating a dynasty at the club, and this is the first piece of the jigsaw in attack. They've let go of some key attacking players, including Kai Havertz and Raheem Sterling. Both players struggled to live up to their price tags. But under Graham Potter, they looked better in a more advanced role. They may feel that they have more to give elsewhere. But either way, the £60 million man is the focal point of their attack going forward. When it comes to transfers, patience is key. Sometimes it takes a player a little while to adapt to a new league, a new team, and a new country. But the early signs are very positive. If he can hit the ground running at Chelsea, then this could be the start of an incredible journey. As for João Pedro, he's landed at one of the biggest clubs in the world. If he hits the heights that many expect him to, then he could become a true legend. But only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching. How do you think he'll get on at Chelsea? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't seen my previous videos in this series, then be sure to check them out.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Support the channel, and I'll see you next time.